Good evening and Eid Mubarak. You're watching the Sound of Oman television, English news. First, the headlines. Eid al-Fitr sermon stresses the ease and moderation of Islamic religion. US, France and other countries evacuate citizens to escape Sudan battles. And a former Russian president warns Moscow will scrap grain deal if G7 bans exports. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. Eid al-Fitr sermon at Al-Khor Mosque in the Governorate of Muscat, which was delivered by His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Saif al-Ma'mari, Minister of Endowments and Religious Affairs, started by thanking Allah, the Almighty, for His uncountable blessings. It also focused on measures of goodness and acts of worship, stressing on moderation of religion and balance. The sermon also highlighted the lessons taken from sense of cooperation and goodwill among believers. The Eid sermon venerated the huge volumes of goodness experienced in the seasons of obedience and worship. It underscored the ease and moderation of the Islamic religion due to its moderation that brings about balance among the believers and guides their conduct. The Eid sermon reads as follows: O believers, hearts are beautified by the volumes of goodness that they receive, and this qualifies them to accommodate the volumes of celestial rewards. When the minds wander between different conditions, they find in life a pleasure that calls for good deeds. It is indeed a generosity from Allah, the benefactor, that He facilitated the fasting of Ramadan for us. Here we are thanks to His everlasting grace celebrated the happy Eid al-Fitr and rejoice. It is only a short period in the run-up to Hajj pilgrimage season, yet another blessed time when obedience endures. With that, observing human beings remain in close contact with their God and venerate His bounties, rewards and blessings. It was contemplate the verses calling for fasting. We would read the Almighty Allah's words in the Holy Quran, asserting that Allah desires ease for you and does not desire hardship for you. Exactly in affirmation that religion is practice of ease and mercy, that religion is an exercise of happiness, relaxation, moderation and facilitation. With his awareness in mind, the soul of the faithful maintains balance, and so he or she does not go astray or become miserable or desperate or become extreme, but he or she aspires for and observes piety and devotion. All Muslims, we are not alone in this world, but we exist and interact with many nations and peoples with whom we share differences and interests. Wisdom requires remaining fast with principle of ihsan, which is kindness and beneficence, that we should coexist with other nations in a spirit of dignity and peace rather than fear. We have to share our morals and civilization with them. We should not scare them, and this is the very essence of the Holy Quran. This interaction with the wide world has two dimensions and two requirements: a dimension focusing on the identity of good action, justice, and ethics, and a dimension through which prove our human affiliation and contribution to knowledge, acquaintances, and recognition of the other. The Civil Aviation Authority issued a warning of heavy rain due to the effects of the depression in a number of governorates of the Sultanate of Oman. The authority stated that heavy thunder showers are likely to occur during the afternoon and evening, and they are concentrated in the governorates of South Al-Sharqiyya, North Al-Sharqiyya, and parts of Muscat and Worcester governorates. Rainfall may range from 20 to 70 millimeters. The Civil Aviation Authority calls on everyone to take caution during thunderstorms, not to cross wadis, avoid low places, and not to go to the sea during the warning period. Meanwhile, a number of wilayas of the Sultanate of Oman witnessed moderate to heavy rains, which caused wadis and tributaries to overflow. Here's some scenes from Wilaya of Damwat. U.S. troops swooped in on helicopters and evacuate embassy staff from Sudan's battle-torn capital, Khartoum. President Joe Biden announced today as other nations sought to help their citizens escape deadly fighting between rival generals. France also launched evacuation operations from the northeast African nation, where fighting has entered its second week. Ferocious battles between the Sudanese armed army and paramilitary group, which has seen fighters, jets launch airstrikes and street fighting with tanks in densely populated Khartoum, have killed more than 400 people and left thousands wounded. Clashes and airstrikes continued in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, during the daytime today, with bullets of armed conflict landing near the residential buildings, according to Khartoum-based China media group reported. The reporter said people in the capital remained inaccessible to electricity or water supplies and faced scarcity of basic food needs amid the still restering conflicts. People across the capital are grappling with soaring prices, power outages, and water shortages, while the supplies of basic daily necessities like food and medicines have been disrupted by the incessant conflict. Following days of fierce clashes, at least 413 people were killed and 3,551 others wounded in the clashes between the Sudanese army and the RSF, according to the data released by the World Health Organization on Friday. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev said today that if the G7 moved to ban exports to Russia, Moscow would respond by terminating the Black Sea grain deal that enabled vital exports of grains from Ukraine. Russia said today it will walk away from the initiative ahead of a May 18th deadline if the West does not lift restrictions on Russian agricultural and fertilizer exports. The group's agriculture ministers said in a communique the G7 called today for the extension, full implementation and expansion of the deal to export Ukrainian grain through the Black Sea. Russia's defense ministry today said its forces had captured more territory in Bakhmut as they pursue their bid to seize full control of the city. The Battle of Bakhmut had turned into one of the bloodiest of the 14-month war, with the eastern Ukrainian city almost completely destroyed by artillery shelling and urban combat. Russia says capturing Bakhmut will allow it to mount further offensive into eastern Ukraine. If they succeeded, Moscow forces are likely to face even larger urban battles for the nearby towns of Kramatorsk and Slovyansk. This is the Sultan of Oman television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Eid al-Fitr sermon stresses the ease and moderation of Islamic religion. US, France and other countries evacuate citizens to escape Sudan battles. And a former Russian president warns Moscow will scrap grain deal if G7 bans exports. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here and the newsroom and the studios. We wish you all happy Eid and enjoy your holidays. Bye.